Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're very welcome. My name is Bonte. You know it guys, you're a shy girl but full of courage. Yeah guys, that's me. If you're new here, you're very welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet, and turn on the notification bell not to get notified when I post a new video. I try to post every single Sunday. So guys, back to the International Women's Month and Day. So we are here with another friend. She does so many things. She's gonna speak for herself. Her name is Mwende. That's the only name I know.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about everything about her. She's an advocate for women, everything for women, rights of women. Like she's just going to talk about it herself. So this is her story, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys wished your women happy International Women's Day and month, and treating the women
So
right.
my name is Mercy Mwende Mugambi, but largely known as Mwende. So I go by Mwende everywhere. I don't know about the age, but I'm 20. Yeah, whatever that age is. But I'm between 20 and 25, so right there. Old ladies don't tell their age. I almost forgot. Yes. I'm single. I don't have a man yet, but we will get one by God's grace.
Yeah.
What else? I am from Kenya. I am half caste of Akamba and American, and I'm proud of my heritage. Aside from that, I love women so much. I live for women. I look forward to a world where women are just being women, regardless of who or what or anything. We're just being women. Yes.
What do you do now?
Okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
So aside from being an automotive engineer, I am a STEM girl. So that STEM is...
Actually, I don't have a friend that is an engineer. A female friend that is an engineer.
Yes, so that is me now.
How is that?
So I am a woman in STEM. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Education, Engineering and Mathematics,
Yeah.
yes. So I am in automotive engineering, a certified automotive engineer.
That's for cars. I'm sorry.
Yes. Automotive engineering is based on cars, very much focused on cars. And I work on wiring systems and engines for now. Yes.
So she was trying to connect for a session for us, and she was not scared of the wires.
We're already used to it. So aside from being an automotive engineer, so on the other aspect, I love serving the community. So that makes me call myself a community volunteer or an advocate for the community. So I love advocating for women. My main focus is women and youth. My biggest focus is women and youth. I advocate for them. I push for policies, I push for rights, I push for everything surrounding women and youth and girls. Yes.
In everything about women, there's nothing specific.
So specificity is, I think last year I was doing everything, but right now I am focused on STEM, economic empowerment, and gender-based violence for now. So those are my main priorities. But other than that, I support like-minded people to do menstrual health and hygiene, sexual reproductive health and rights, all that. So everything that encompasses being a woman, being a girl, and also being a young person, I think I've had one or the other in conjunction with it. Yes.
What does International Women's Day mean to you? What do you understand about it? Why do you think it's very important for us to advocate for women and recognize this day and the month?
Alright, I feel like International Women's Day for me is a day that reminds me that somebody somewhere actually took up the mantle and decided to fight for women. The future of women has not started today. It started a long time ago because someone took up the job of just advocating for women and got to a point where women were actually granted a day. But it doesn't make me feel any special because at times the International Women's Day kind of focuses on what we haven't done more than what we have done for the women. And for me, it's a time where I reflect on what have I done, what haven't I done, what can I do about what I've not done yet, and how can I better what I've already done. So for me, I feel like it's a pretty heavy moment for me, especially the whole month, International Women's Month. For me, it's a month where I look at the inequalities women face, the issues that women have to go through, all the challenges that we have to go through as women. And it becomes so clear and it becomes so bright to me that we actually need more work than is already done. So for me, International Women's Day is a day where I celebrate being a woman, but it's also a day where I reflect about being a woman.
What has been your proudest moment up to date?
Wow, that's a good question. I feel like I have a lot of proudest moments.
Please share.
So the first one is the one that happened today. This I've not yet gone exclusive with it. But I'm so proud of myself because I got into the Mandela Washington Fellowship. For those that don't know what that is, it's a yearly flagship program that allows young African leaders to fly out from their country to the US for 6 weeks to actually undergo a training and come back and continue serving the community. So for me, that is a big win because I remember during application, the minimum age was 25 and I'm not yet, but I fought my way and I'm into it even without getting to 25. Yes. So that's one of my biggest and proudest moments. The other biggest and proudest moment is actually having a safe space for women for over 140 women over the country. Providing an online safe space for them and just having a space where they can talk about issues that affect them. Yes, I have them. I talk to them daily. We have discussions. You know, we discuss about 1, 2, 3, 4 things that affect us as women, how we can make our online spaces more safe. So that's one of the other biggest wins that I'm proud of because I've actually been able to meet them because a lot of the women on that space, I haven't met them physically. So we meet on one-on-one occasions and you're wondering, oh, so you're the Mwenda from this space and you're from this space. So we have a lot of discussions and I'm happy that the space has been able to impact people in as much as it's not physical. So yes. So I feel like those two are one of my biggest wins for now. Yes.
That's really good. For this year's theme for International Women's Day and Month, it was embracing equity.
Yeah.
It's still, since we're still in March, it's embracing equity, about talking about it and living it and thinking about it, making it part of you, taking actions, and basically just your life should be actually just advocating for women and taking actions to change the things that are happening to women in the society. So with all that, so let me ask a question. What have you been doing you said you have reflected, you know what you have done, what you're yet to do. So what have you been doing to advocate for women, to make the society a better place for women? What have you been doing with that?
All right, so I think my journey to make the society better for women started way back in 2018, 2019. That's when I got immersed in the community service world. At first, I didn't understand why I was there because I didn't really feel like this was my calling. I was sure I wanted to be an engineer, so I didn't understand what was this about the community work. So that's when I started my community work. I got mentored through SRHR, that is Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights. I was able to mentor youths in school, but as time went on, I actually realized that I have a specific calling for a specific thing. So towards 2020,
did you pray about it, Amma?
I think I've prayed about it last year.
How did you get the calling for it?
I just felt like this was my need. Like the fact that I'd go home and get triggered and get so stressed about something I have no control over. Like a lady was raped, I have no control over that. But that would give me sleepless nights for like 3 days. I'm so worried about what can I do. I don't have finances, but how can I connect her to finances? So I think that's why I started realizing I have a special thing for women. And then I signed in for an engineering course in school and I actually realized, no, this is it. Because I provided a space for other engineering women in school because we were really going through a tough time. So it got me to a point where I started a safe space for us. So we were able to meet, we were able to have discussions and everything around engineering, how we can be better women in engineering. And that ended after I finished school, but I'm going back to restart it for those that are behind me. After that, 2020 COVID time came, very tough time for all of us. So when I went home, a lot of women were at home, a lot of them were going through gender-based violence, and we couldn't do anything because of the lockdowns and all that. So I started a space where women would meet twice a week. They would come sit out in my grandmother's compound. So at first my grandmother was against it because, you know, the community set up and all that, and she'd be like, so what if they come and then people start fighting? What will you say about it? And I told her, it's okay, if they fight, that is still human being. But I would like you to allow me to bring them here so that we see we can help them. And I started off as a small community of around 5 women, and before we knew it, we hit 30 women. So we were able to meet at least twice in a week, discuss, see how best you can support each other, who is going through gender-based violence. And yes, so after COVID-19, that too ended. So I feel like I start things and then after a period they end. But I'm hoping that has to change. Yes. And then now we moved on to now doing menstrual hygiene for women. That is campaigning for and trying to fundraise pads, especially for the Miru Women's Prison. I've been there severally, just supporting them with what we have together with like-minded partners. And right now I have my own initiative that is aimed at creating online safe spaces and also physical safe spaces, and working with women and girls in STEM, majorly providing economic empowerment and just highlighting on gender-based violence.
I feel like most of the time we try to protect women that have already experienced violence or all these inequalities that are happening in the society. So have you tried doing measures that are preventing before you even get to the action itself, before you face this inequalities thing? So have you been doing things that prevent protecting women before they even go?
Yes. So a lot of our work is actually not focused on survivor help. It is focused on prevention. So we do a lot of awareness creation online, physically. Our awareness creation is highlighted on educating you. What are the signs of a toxic person? What are the signs of a toxic relationship? How can I know this will be a gender-based violence case? How can I run away before it actually happens? So we are able to educate them, and they know the actual sign. And someone will call and tell you, my friend has been acting like this, what should I do? So now you know, with this case has some certain symptoms, so you like leave before it gets too bad. And so we're able to carry out civic engagement and community awareness creation forums, because when we sit down with women, even the women that we were meeting with during the COVID period, not a lot of them were going through gender-based violence, but majority of them didn't know what gender-based violence is. They thought it's a part of the culture. It's a part of getting corrected as a wife. Let me tell you, women have really, really weird thoughts. And so when you tell them that it is bad for a man to actually hit you, they're wondering, how will he discipline me? And I'm wondering, why do you need to be disciplined? You get? You're a big woman. No one needs to actually discipline. If they can't discipline you, let them do it by word of mouth or with a very kind way, rather than having to beat you up and then you're wondering, why do I need to be disciplined? So for me, I feel like a lot of work needs to be done to actually, because my country at large, a lot of women are yet to understand that some cultural norms are actually very retrogressive and very harmful to us, but we've held on to them because we believe this is what makes that women. Yes, and not only that, but it makes me a good staunch woman in the community. Yes.
Do you have a testimony from any women, like the women that have actually been rescued from a toxic relationship or toxic marriage or any kind of abusive relationship? So do you have a person that has actually come to you and said, oh, this was about to happen, but based on your awareness and all those things, I've come out of a toxic relationship?
Yes, I have, but I will withhold the name.
It's okay.
Because I hadn't talked to her before this. But I've had a lady come to me, and actually during the COVID period, she was like, I think my husband could be going through something. So the issue was the husband was going through a lot of stressful situation, but didn't know how to communicate about it. So his escape mode was being violent. But now the wife was actually understanding. She knew the husband more, so she was like, I need someone to actually reach out to my husband and understand what's wrong, because he's never violent, and I feel like a lot of things are happening, and now we need to control them. So at first we had to put her at a safe distance, in as much as you're not supposed to meddle into other people's issues. So we had to put her at a safe distance for some time. Then I reached out to a few other men in the community and requested them to reach out to this guy and see what is going wrong. And mind you, he was actually handling some stressful situations, and once he got over them, they got back to being a good family. So she was always telling me, like, I'm grateful I came to you, because had she let her own mind, or you see the way we have those lady groups that when you tell, you know, my husband almost hit me yesterday, and they tell you, go home, leave that man immediately. So she was telling me if I went and sat down with other women, they would have told me to actually divorce him. But I feel like at times we should not be in a rush to actually leave relationships. Actually take time to consider. But I don't advocate for it if someone has already hit you. Please leave, and then we will discuss about it later. So that was one of the cases amongst others.
In your field of engineering and in the community volunteer worker, so have you experienced any gender bias?
A lot of it, I'll tell you. So it starts from engineering. Day one of my school.
Day one? Wow.
Day one at 8 a.m. I had a class at 8 a.m. So I leave where I used to. I just get into the school. I wasn't dressed like an engineering girl.
Oh, there's an outfit for engineering.
I got to know that after I got into school. So I was wearing a crop top, you know, looking girly and bougie. Oh my god, I wish I did. So I walked into the engineering department, and let me tell you, one of the guys actually stood me up. He's like, hi, where are you going? I told him, to the engineering sector. Which engineering sector are you going to? And I tell him automotive. He looked at me, dressed like this, And I was wondering, what does my dressing have to do with what I'm going to do in class?
Mm-hmm.
He tells me, do you really love yourself? And I'm like, yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
If you love yourself, kindly go and change that course right now. That
You
course
change the
is-
course, not
Yes.
the outfit. Okay,
no,
that's
not the outfit. I go and change the course because
Okay.
it's not for women. The course is meant for men. Yes, that was the statement. I'm like, oh, I cried. I was like, this is day one at 8. Why are you looking for me at 8 a.m.?
How many females are in your class? Were in your class?
When we started, we were 5 women, 5 females.
Out of how many men?
40 something.
What?
48 towards 50.
That's a very huge gap.
Yes, and then someone has the guts to actually dishearten you on the morning of the first day in university, and you're wondering, my God, what did I do to come here? Who forced me here? So I remember calling home and I was crying and telling them, guys, I can't do this. I might as well drop out and just do something else. And my grandmother told me, have you ever failed in anything you do? I told her no, then go and fail in that one. And she hung up. And I knew for sure there is a way to fail in this one.
Yeah.
So I went back.
Mm-hmm.
I found the guy there and I told him, you watch me. I didn't tell him a lot of words. I told him, you. After I've cried for like 10 minutes. And
Did you go like with a different outfit on a
the same outfit on the same day. So I told
Wow.
him, you watch me. And then I get to class and I realize now I know why I was asked where I'm
Okay.
going. Because everyone else was in baggy t-shirts, baggy jeans. And I think that became my outfits for the rest of the years in university. But I feel like
That's
that's
just like
that,
in the movies.
Yes.
Always in the baggy things.
and it is actually true. You will
How
rarely, I don't know, you will rarely find an engineering student, especially a lady with a dress. Where are you going with a dress? Or with very tight jeans or crop tops. My friend, you're alone. you either do that for attention or something. But I find like that is one of the biasness that needs to change. That I should not be judged by what I choose to wear on that day. Because I feel like even nails, I couldn't have nails in engineering school. Because I was wondering, how do you do cars with nails?
Yeah.
And I do cars today with my nails on. So people are like, no, you can't have nails. You won't be able to draw. You won't be able to design. And I'm wondering, am I designing with my head or my nails? You know, there's a difference. But I feel like that biasness needs to change. So that's part of the work that we need to do in engineering. So that was part of the biasness I went through. In my community setup, I feel like there's a time I tried talking to a group of old men in the community, and I was told to silence because I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. So I should find a man to talk on my behalf. Yes. I have to find a man, let me tell you. Community traditions will have you bowing down to them. I had to find a man that actually explained to them what I wanted to say. And in the end, they were like, let her talk to us now. So I talked to them and they blessed me. So yes, I would say it's just trying to find a way to get listened to. Yeah.
Okay. Before we get to your real stories,
Yeah.
are there any women in your field that you get inspired by, like they inspire you to be who you are today?
Wow, I feel like now names have done that thing, forgotten all names. But there's a lady that works at Safaricom. She's a STEM lady. I've forgotten her name.
It's okay.
I really follow her story. I think she used to work, I don't know in which engineering department in Safaricom, Kenya, but I can't remember her name. And I love the work she does. She talks out about the inequalities that women in engineering are going through. And I love her work. I really love it. We also had a CEO, I think the Toyota CEO, I don't know if it's the Toyota, I swear. Names are just doing that thing. And she was a lady. And every time I used to do engineering, I'd be like, I want to be her. I want to be her. Because I feel like being able to run the male sector and actually be there, my friend, I'm clapping. I'm clapping always because I'm so happy. It's so hard for you to actually make a step forward. And for you to make a step and rise the ranks to becoming a CEO. You've done
That's a
good
very
work.
big
Yeah,
job.
so
Yeah.
yes. And I one of the ladies that really in the political aspect, because I also feel like I have a political aspect. There's the first lady president of Liberia. I think her name was Johnson.
President of Liberia.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Okay.
Liberia, the first lady president. And this lady highlighted on the benefits of education, and in especially hands-on education. And every time I read a story, I'm like, this has gotta be me. One way or the other has gotta be me. And I look up to them and I get so happy when I read their stories and see that they actually overcame all these inequalities. And something came out of all these stories. So yeah, for me, these are things, amongst other lady stories that we hear. I just get happy when I see that a woman has actually done it. It doesn't have to be you did something big, but actually overcoming one step of an inequality shows us that we can actually do it. So yes.
You should go to Afghanistan since they're using women to, as in women, they're being told women cannot do education at universities, so advocating for them.
At that point, let me withhold my exams before I'm hunted down.
So let's now go to your story now.
Yeah.
So you have been a survivor of sexual, gender-based violence.
Yes.
So is it sexual or just gender-based violence?
It was sexual.
Sexual.
Sexual, yes.
Yeah, if you don't know gender-based violence, there are lots of things. There's sexual,
Yeah.
psychological, physical, they're
Emotional, they're very
everything.
different, yes.
Yeah, so talk to us about gender-based violence in general, then again to your story.
Alright, so gender-based violence, like you said, takes a lot of different forms. So
Yeah.
we have sexual gender-based violence, so that is whereby we have harmful act towards our sex. So sex could be either male or female, and that could take in the form of rape, sodomy, or defilement. So rape is harmful sex or forceful sex for anyone over 18 years. And then defilement is the same thing, but for anyone under 18 years. And sodomy is where a man now harmfully forces another man. So yeah. And then we have the emotional aspect of gender-based violence. We have the physical, where there's the battering. There is where we see a bodily mark, could be physical too, in as much as it could be sexual, so it could also be physical. We also have spiritual, where you are warned against going to church, or you cannot access a specific belief that you have in, or a denomination that you want, because probably your husband or your wife doesn't support it. We have the emotional, whereby we have throwing of words, silent treatment.
Even silent treatment?
Yeah, silent treatment could be a form of emotional gender-based violence. And we also have the economic gender-based violence, whereby I'm not, as a woman or as a man, allowed to have my own business or to run any economic activities. So yes, gender-based violence is actually wide. And so for me, I have gone through sexual gender-based violence twice. Yes. I know.
Same house, same...
No, different times. But I feel like it was during the same period. My first year in campus and my last year in campus. So they happened during that duration. So one happened during my first year, the other one happened during my final year. And one of the things I would really want to say is, I'm sorry, I will not go into details about it.
Okay.
But yes, one of them happened during my first year. So this one happened, I got invited to a party and all that, those campus parties. And it was a setup, so it happened. And then the second one was also kind of a setup, but this one I wasn't invited. I walked myself into the setup, one or the other. So
setup, did you recognize the...
I knew the person, it was someone I actually trusted for my final year of school, but the first year I didn't know who that person was, yes. And so for me, those two, especially the first time, really didn't hit me as much, because I think I was handling a lot of things, so it didn't take up a lot of space. But the second one kind of really hit me so bad, I almost dropped out of the final year of school. But I'm so grateful for my friends. I'm so grateful for everyone who stood up and was like, we have to support you. And I got there in school. How I passed final year exams is still a miracle to date. I cannot explain how I passed, because I didn't attend school for like 2 semesters. I just used to be in and out because of the trauma, and also the fact that we were only 2 ladies, like in the whole department. So if someone would touch me like this, I'd be like, yeah. So you get like, you start scaring people what's wrong with you, and then I'm not talking in class, I'm not active, so it's just the constant. So for like 2 semesters, I was in and out. But yeah, I did the exam and everything worked well. Yes. So those were my, yes.
Okay, most of, like in our age, our age mates, our colleagues, our friends, they experience lots of sexual gender-based violence in terms of, in parties. So is it bad for us to go to parties? Like, where can we... What should we draw the line? Because if I go to a party, like we have friends that go to a party, I'm a friend, like, so how should we protect ourselves from, like, to prevent these things from happening? Like, how do we know that, okay, we cannot know that, we cannot know the future.
It's so hard to know.
It's hard for us to know the future, that something bad is going to happen to us, but how can we go protected? We still need to socialize, yes, but how can we go protected?
I feel like one of the things is, at times we have no control over a lot of things that happen. And I tell women, for you to actually be there and not have gone through any form of gender-based, or let's be specific, sexual gender-based violence, it's a miracle because we are dealing with a lot of different men, a lot of different personalities. We're also dealing with a lot of different women who are now signing up to become, their pronouns are now becoming he or she, they or their, and you know that you don't understand what they want with you. So we are dealing with a lot of different personalities and a lot of different beliefs. So for me, I'd say there is no absolute sure way to be safe.
Wow.
There is no written way for you to know I am safe in this party, because you're not. But I think what we were taught is, one of the things is, when you go to those parties, don't just leave your drink hanging out, always carry your drink, and if you leave it, kindly get a new and opened drink. Also, don't trust people that much with all your details on that day. So if you're going to a party, make sure that you don't get too drunk that you don't understand what's going on. At least get a little bit high and then leave and go home. Don't also live with people that you haven't met before, because if you do that, they may take advantage of you when you're in a very vulnerable situation. So yes, I'd advise people to actually carry your own money when you're going for parties. Do not say my friend has money, and then when you go there, apparently that friend has set you up. And friends are so weird, because I got set up by a friend. Someone I trusted, someone that invited me to this party, but she set me up, yeah. So, and
it's a she.
Yes, you'd think it's actually a male, you'd be shocked. It's a she that sets you up. Your own gender. Your own gender. So let me tell you, there is no absolute way to be sure that I'm going to be safe. But one of the things with me is, people around me know I don't go partying. You will have to beat me before I walk out of that door dressed up for a party. I will not come for that party. Especially night parties. I'd rather sleep in my house. And I will sleep 3 times again. Whether or not that party gives me anything beneficial. Because I feel like I still have that PTSD. But I tell people, I'm not that my personal experiences would stop anyone around me, but I want you to be as safe as you can. And I'm always on call. If I know my friend is on a party, I always tell her I have my number as an emergency. So in case anything happens, you can call and we can see how we can do about it. Rather than being alone. Because I was alone, I couldn't call anyone at that point. And it happened. And now here we are. We are now living off.
A perpetrator?
Yes, I've seen him.
You see them?
Thrice. And I think one thing with me is, I'll see you and I'll go back. Because I don't have the courage to actually face you yet. But I feel like being able to talk about it is a big thing for me, because I rarely share, I've gone through it. But being able to actually sit down here and tell you, Bonte, I went through 1, 2, 3 things. That's one of the recovery stages for me. And I'm so proud of myself to that level. So yes, I might not face him, but I feel one of the things, I had a conversation with the lady that set me up. I just told her, I have nothing against you. You knew what you wanted. And I really hope, and I tell that to everyone, if you know you have any ill intentions to people, you just know karma has a way of coming back. And when it does, I hope you won't start asking God, what did you do? Because when it does, it comes with the full force. And I always tell people, always remember the repercussions of what you remember the repercussions of what you're doing, because we might pretend that we are young, we are YOLO, but wait until you turn 30 and you have all the weight of the world on your head and you're wondering, what did I go wrong or what did I do? So I always tell people, with the purest of intentions, do things with the purest of intentions, because as long as there's a little bit of ill intention, then you have a lot to pay for. Yes.
How have you been surviving it?
I wouldn't say I have a big support system, but I have this one friend. She is very supportive. She's called Sharon. I know she wouldn't appreciate me naming her. She's an introvert, but I don't care. So Sharon will call me almost every day. She's like, how are you doing today? How are you feeling today? So she has been my personal person. She knows, she has been there when my family couldn't be there, because if there's one thing that we fear is to know, is our families to know that we have actually fallen short and we are actually inadequate.
So your family does not know?
My family doesn't know, unless if they watch this video, then they will know, of which I'm trying to go and try and make sure they don't see it. But if they happen to, then this will be the first time they hear that story. Wow. And I didn't withhold it because they will not support, but I didn't want them to see their daughter falling short of what they expect.
But you did not expect it.
No, that's the point. With our families, we feel like we want to cover them and let them see the best out of us, and the worst out of us, we don't want them to see. So that was my case. The first and the second, and let me tell you, even the second time my family, even when I was as depressed, when I used to go home, I would smile. You wouldn't know this lady is depressed, because my family has gotta see the best side of me. In as much as it used to drain me, you have to see this. This is who you raised. This is her. So she's smiling. She's holding. But let me tell you, behind the scenes, She hasn't eaten for like 5 days. She hasn't slept for like 2 weeks. But that doesn't matter. Of importance is I'm here now, and that's what matters. But I felt like in the long run, I actually went into a therapist, and she told me that was very detrimental to my recovery, because I was just suppressing my feelings, not allowing myself to feel anything. But yes, I was able to go through a process of like 8 months of therapy. I didn't allow myself to take any medicine because I was like, we have to do this our own selves. And yeah, here we are today. There are times you wake up and you're feeling so low. You feel like, yeah, I'm a failure. How I allowed this and this and this and this to happen to me, I am a failure. But the days I wake up and I'm like, I've been able to support like 10 women that have gone through the same thing, 10 women and girls. And I've supported them and just showing them that I'm not alone. So one thing I appreciate is going through those escapades, because I wouldn't say I'm the happiest to go through them, but I would say I appreciate it because it helped me to support other women, because that is my calling. So if I'm able to support you better by going through what I went through, then I'll take that as a lesson. I'll not take it as a punishment from someone. I'll take it as actually a lesson for me to help someone better. Because had you come to me and I had not understood what you're going through, I'd be like,
yeah,
so I can't understand. Yes. So it's really tough. At days you wake up and you want to be like, let me just stay in bed because I'm a big failure. I don't know, I'm a survivor, I'm a what. But one thing I've learned is to always wake up and tell myself, you know what, that was the past. Shrug it off, walk. Because if I walk on the road, you wouldn't know I'm a survivor. If I start laughing with you right now, let me tell you, you can't guess I've gone through it. A lot of people can't know because I've mastered the art of always encouraging myself and telling myself
and encouraging others.
Yes, you know what? This doesn't matter. This is not important. Yes, it happened. It was a lesson. Did you learn something out of it? And one thing I've learned is to always bring out the positivity out of everything. I was talking to a friend last week and she was telling me you're the most positive person ever. Because if you listen to my life story, I don't know where I'm even getting positivity from. But I actually realized that we have a lot of victim syndromes that we have where you're like, oh, you know, I went through this, now I can't do this because of this. Yeah. But let me tell you, that doesn't stop me from saying I want to get married, because I will get married and to a good guy when the time comes. But until then, we keep on focusing on growing, and going through it doesn't mean I'm a lesser woman compared to a woman who didn't go it. It means I'm actually a way stronger person. I've been able to handle it and overcome it. So yes.
Wow. I feel like this question keeps coming in my head. It happened the first time, the second time. This is a very weird question and a dumb question to ask. How do you know that it won't happen again?
That's the point. I don't. How do I know it won't? But one thing I believe is, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, one thing my therapist told me is, you did right? Or did you put yourself in that situation? If you knew yesterday that you'd get raped, would you go there? And I told her no. But I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I don't. You get? So what I do is I do right by myself. So doing right by myself is, am I careful? Do I do this? Do I tick the boxes? Am I well dressed? Do I feel comfortable in what I'm doing? Do I feel comfortable in walking through that alley? You know, during the night, what am I doing? You get? So I am able to put myself in positions where I'll say I was safe. So if you have your own ill intentions, that is your own business. It's not on me. If I'm the recipient, I still have no control over it. But at this point, I don't know if it will happen. But I pray it doesn't. It really has a lot of negative effect on your life generally. Because I feel like I'd be too afraid for my daughters. I need someone to actually keep on pinching me. It won't happen to your daughters. Because I feel like I would lock them in that house to not go for partying. But I've been having discussions with actually people that already have kids, and they tell me, actually tell them, let them understand. You went through this when the time is right, and they will understand, and they will see why their mom is a little bit tough. But I feel for me, I don't know, I'm not sure it will happen or not. But one thing I'm sure is I'm doing the best as per me. So if it does happen, I am not to blame. Probably the life is to blame at this point. Yes.
Guys, you have heard it. So International Women's Day is about advocating women to go into these positions that they have never been welcomed to go into, like in political, economic, social, and advocating for talking about issues like, you know, sexual-based, gender-based violence, child marriages, domestic violence, and this gender pay gap, all those things. So apart from the community service that you do, and apart from sexual-based gender violence, so is there anything else that you do outside that, like also talk about political? Tell us a little bit about how you do the political thing.
So the political thing, I think it happened last year, but when we were having a conversation with like 3 friends, and they're like, you have a political calling, and I just laugh at them. I'm like, me? Political? You're lost. Not me. Probably someone else.
Yeah.
Because I was like, politics is too dirty for me. You get like, politics needs a lot of work, so I'm not ready to give more work than I already have. And last year the elections happened, and I was just having a conversation with someone else, and he tells me, you are actually called to politics. And I told him, whoever sent you, you should go back to whoever sent you. So those were like 4 people. And this year started, I've had like 2 more people telling me, one day you have to think about getting into politics. And I was there wondering, do you think getting into politics is as easy as waking up and say, oh, I want to be into politics? It's not as easy as that. But let me tell you, when God wants you somewhere, fear God. Fear God. He brings
use all the people.
Yes, He brings things that you don't expect.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, I have an nominated MCA that went through my Twitter and approached me. Hi, Mwende, I like the work you do. Would you like to get mentored politically? And I'm wondering, who told you I need mentorship? I didn't say I need mentorship. What are you doing in my inbox? I was like, I'm the same part. I've been told by like 6 people, so why not take up the offer? And I did, and let me tell you, ladies, run away from men political mentors. Unless you know this political mentor Vizuri, because they want to just, I don't know, this is my personal case. Because after I allowed him to come and mentor me, he went on ahead to ask for sex. Now, why are you asking for sex? I didn't even look for you.
I know, see that.
And now I'm telling God, you know what? Close that door. I don't want it. I will not fight with inequalities out here and still come back. I'm not going to do it.
It's crazy how men think.
But you know,
they think everything is just about sex.
Do you know that God's sense of humor is very funny? He was like, oh, you think you're getting started. So I think the immediate week I met with 2 MCAs, that those are member of county assemblies, women. And God was like, talk to those 2, I've sent them to you. And I talked to them, and they agreed to mentor me. And now I'm currently undergoing mentorship from 2 very strong women. Yeah, so I'm hoping that in 2027 I'll actually have a space in politics. But that's of the growth I want to do. But yes, I'm so happy that I've finally found some people that actually, you were here when I received a call from her. She was checking on me. She had invited me for a political event on Sunday. She was like, how did you see it? Did you like it? What did you learn? Can we meet? Can we discuss this? And I'm like, yes, this is what a mentor looks like. And I tell myself once I'm into it, it is my calling. I'm gonna mentor more women because I feel like we need to
I need like mentorship, because me and politics, I'm really scared of politics.
They are bad.
I'm really scared.
But I feel like at this point I'm ready. Bring it on.
Speaking of politics and laws and all those things, what are the laws that are implemented, like that are in the law, in the what laws that
Constitution,
are in the Constitution, something like that, that protect the punish.
We have a lot of laws. We have the CEDAW. CEDAW is Convention on Elimination Against All Forms of Violence, something like that. We have the Maputo Protocol. We also have the Constitution. We have the sexual gender-based violence policies. We have a lot of policies in place that our government is good at. The Kenyan government is so good at. You know what? Let me come up with the policies.
Okay.
We have the Polycare policy, whereby the police should treat survivors of gender-based in a certain way. That policy is there. Yes, it's called a Polycare policy. It's there. It was launched, but how many police know about it?
None.
You get?
Yeah.
How many people know about the Maputo Protocol? I'm guessing it's a protocol about women in general. I don't know how to put it. So the CEDAW, which is the Convention Against All Forces of Violence, came from Maputo came from the CEDAW. So now CEDAW was created and then Maputo was brought from it, whereby we highlight issues about women and girls in specifics. So yes, so yeah, it says just how if you're caught raping someone, what should happen, what jail term. The Constitution too does that, but there's no implementation of these policies to the fullest that they should be. Like our county, now Meru County has the sexual gender-based violence policy. It is like the only county in Kenya that has that policy.
Seriously?
But we don't see it getting implemented. We just know we have a policy, and when people hear we have policies, they clap for us because I think we are actually implementing them. But in reality, Kenya is not implementing those policies.
So how do we get them to be implemented?
So I feel like
does it start with us, Ama? What do we
it
do?
starts with you on the ground.
Uh-huh.
You who knows about the policy, educate someone who doesn't know about it. So when you are, I was alone, I know about the policy alone. Then I educate 3 people, now we are 4. These 3 people educate 5 people, now we are 9. You get, we keep on growing, and before we know it, now we are like 50 people that know about the protocol or the constitution and what it says. And now when we're able to sit down and draw our advocacy plans, we know we are advocating in a certain direction, and we know that this is what the law says about our advocacy, this is what the law says about our demonstration, or we need justice for rape, we need justice for defilement, justice for sodomy. When we are doing that, we know the law says arrest and arraign that person for 15 years. So why is he not getting a, or why is he just getting an 8 years lifetime? We should be in for 15 or 25 or 35. So when we are able to know what the law says, it helps us in implementation. And not only that, when we go back to the community is the main focus as to why these policies are created. So there's no need of us having a lot of policies and actually standing out when they go to probably when you go to these conventions, these big meetings, and we're like, oh, Kenya has a lot of policies. But if you ask people in the community which policies there, they know nothing, because then they believe what they know is the economy status. You see, as much as we have educated people on the economy and just how much there's inflation, take the same effort to educate them on what the law says about their rights. So yes.
Yeah. Are there any other changes that you can set up in the community apart from the awareness?
Yes, we can create spaces whereby we feel safe just being in the community. By creating spaces is where we actually meet, not only as women, but also men need their spaces, whereby we are also able to, to have these discussions around how to not be a perpetrator. Because you'll realize that as a country we say that men are the perpetrators of gender-based violence, until you find that we also have women that are actually perpetrators. So when we're able to also teach men the signs and how to avoid such people, we're able to have a really good community. And to also, to the other focal people, the influential people, the influencers, the celebrities, use your platform for the best. Don't use your platform to either grow chauvinism or grow something else or grow any negative attitude towards any of the genders. Use your platform to actually grow a positive community, because I feel like a lot of us are out there bashing, men, fear women, fear men, fear this, fear no. And when we start finger pointing everyone, now you're wondering who is pointing at who. And you get that only one finger points at someone. Those 3 are at me. So where am I standing at? So I feel like it's a call to everyone in the community. Take up your role. If you know something about this, educate people that you know don't have. If you have a platform that you can, like you're doing right now, take that opportunity, take that platform, talk about these very necessary issues, because I feel like in the near future we will have a very dissociated community whereby we don't care about what happens. If she got raped, oh, that's her business and her family. Oh, her money was stolen, that's okay. She has more money, insurance is covering us.
Do you believe things are going to get better?
If we do work, yes. If we don't, no. If we continue at the same pace we are at, oh my friend, there is no betterness that we shall see. We shall continue dancing in these issues that we are dancing in, but if we actually take action ourselves, because I know there are people that are actually carrying our burdens. But don't let everyone carry your burden. Don't be like, oh, there's a lady that does all this work for us. If you're in the community and you have a voice, you're known like as the football coach, use that as little as the football coach. Bring all the boys together and tell them this is how men grow. To the men, this is how men grow. To the women, this is how a good woman is found. You get? So you'll find that if these cultural beliefs or these norms are set into you as early as when you were a child, it's very hard to take it away from you. You'll find even for us that used to be bitter, when you collect something that doesn't belong to you on the road. Because for me, I think I collected 5 shillings and my grandmother bet me like a thief. Today, when you drop a suitcase of money, I will leave, because I remember that caning as if it was yesterday. And you see some of these lessons, people will be like, oh, that was battering. My friend, that was real life lessons. Because it helps you a lot, you get? So it becomes very important. As much as we would like to say, do this and do that, at times we don't have the power to do it. So when you can't do it, please do it. And when you have the opportunity to do it, don't fear, just take it up on yourself and do it. And always make sure that you, at least every day, you're trying to make the world a better place. Plant a tree, educate someone, do something that makes the world a very better place more than it was yesterday. So yes, that's what we can do about it.
Recognizing a toxic relationship, can you give us like a few features of a toxic relationship or a toxic environment? Can you just give us like a few features? Some of us don't know, maybe we think it's actually normal. So,
yeah. So I feel like one of the things that a lot of toxic relationships have in common is just not being able to speak out on how you feel.
Okay.
So you'll find a lot of us, when I'm feeling something and I say, I will get gaslighted. So gaslighted is when I say something to stand against me. Even in our parent relationship, you'll find that there's a lot of toxicity there, whereby I say, Mom, I didn't like how you talked to me yesterday. Hey, your mom is like, I carried you for 9 months. No, you don't like how I talk. You get, no, that is gaslighting. I didn't say I didn't appreciate that you carried me. Where did that come from? I was just saying I didn't like how you talk. You get. So you find that a lot of this toxic relationship have the aspect of when I talk about something, it is turned against me. So when you find that in your relationship, could be parent, could be teacher, student, could be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, when you find that when you talk about something and it is turned against you by either of the parties, then that could be one of the signs of a toxic relationship. Then there's this sign of you didn't do what I wanted, so I'm going to give you silent treatment. We think silent treatment is a really good thing, or we actually feel like, I went on silent because I didn't like how you talked to me yesterday. That is unfair.
Okay.
That is very toxic. You should learn to say,
I thought it was okay.
No, it's not okay.
As in, instead of me talking about it right now, if I'm already in my own moods, I'm angry, like instead of me facing you, taking the issue to you right now, it's better for me to give you silent treatment. Let me go cool off, then come back.
That's an excuse for being, I don't want to use a really bad one, but that's an excuse for being a very incompetent human being. Because how do you expect me to deal with your emotions? It's okay for you. Yes, you're in your moods. What about me, who doesn't understand why you're in your moods? Do you get, like, always put yourself in the shoe of whoever you're giving silent treatment, because now he or she is wondering, why am I being treated like this? Okay. And now you'll find them getting either anxious or nervous, and now you're giving them mental health disorders because you decided to go silent.
Okay.
So when we go through things, I know at times, probably from our African setups, we've learned to run away from, when you feel something, you like lock it up and run away.
Yeah.
But for us to be able to grow healthy relationships and just run away from being toxic people, learn to actually communicate. When it happens, take a breath in, take a breath out. Even if it's easy to breathe 3 times, then tell them 1, 2, 3 things, I didn't like them, 4, 5 things, can we work about this? You get? Now when you're able to tell me I didn't like how you looked at me, I might be, I'm sorry, I wasn't actually even looking at you, I was thinking about something in my head, then I projected it to you, and I'm sorry about that. So you would have given this silent treatment for 4 days. It's something we've talked about for 20 minutes and we're now friends again. You get? So that's how we destroy our relationships. But I would say this, at times it's very hard to have the same sensible conversation with probably our parents. Because our parents believe that they have to say it and it has to be them that say it. So if you're in such a relationship, find a positive way to work around it. Don't be too close to yourself. Don't be, I don't want to do this because, my mom would say this about this. So yes, just be open to,
more features.
Yeah.
Do you have features?
Aside from gaslighting and silent treatment, we have the physical abuse.
Yeah.
When someone hits you and then they tell you, oh my God,
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about? What was your hand doing on my body? You get? So the moment someone hits you, the problem is not you. The problem is them. Run. Because if they hit you and I slap you, then I'm like, I'm so sorry, babe, I shouldn't have. And then tomorrow you hit me with a stick and you're still sorry. The next day you'll kill me and you'll be sorry. You get? So it's not funny when someone is like, I'm sorry, and buys you cake. Please, that money that you're using on cake and flowers, use it to go for therapy, because I am not appreciating how you're treating me. So, getting hit, I know that is not for parental relationships, because parents will beat you. So that is not for parents. But looking at our boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife relationships, if someone hits you, could be the man, could be the woman, please go and just take some time off that person. They are also where you're treated lower than you should be. In an incident whereby I know my worth, I know that when I come out here, I am very loud, I'm very vocal. But my boyfriend will not allow me to speak in the house because he feels he's the man. That is one of those toxic signs, unless we've agreed. But I don't know how you would agree to be, stupid in a relationship. So it's allowed to be submissive for women, but don't be stupid in the submissiveness. Don't let a man actually or a woman actually imprint their print in your life and be like, I am the reason they are there, I'm the reason they are coughing, I'm the reason their eyes are opening. Don't let them be.
Yeah.
So that could be a sign of a toxic relationship. Other signs are very subtle, as small as shouting at you, because you know, why are you shouting? I feel like I tell people, learn how. It's very hard. Personally, I struggle with communication because I don't shout, but I'll go silent on you. I could go silent on a month and I'm okay. A whole month. And I came to learn that it's not positive, it's actually very negative. So even as much as I'm telling you this sign, some of us have them.
I love how you actually know the things and
yes, at times I can go silent on someone, not because I don't know how to communicate, but I'm like, I don't want to communicate about it. And for me, I came to realize when it is done to me, I fidget, I have anxiety. So I'm wondering if I was doing it to someone else, how should they feel? Again, so I've learned the art of apologizing and just telling you 1, 2, 3 things didn't work how I wanted them to. So is there a way we could work around it? Can we compromise it? And if we can't, then can we at least have a good ending without having to argue with each other? So yes, so we have a lot of signs of toxic relationship, and some of them are not even said. But if you feel that wherever you are is not making you comfortable,
which ones are not being said? I want to know which ones.
They are very, I don't know.
Those are very things that
they're very.
It's actually normal,
Love bombing.
Yeah, like
which one is that one?
Love bombing is whereby you fill me with love. You get like 1 minute you're very rude, and then the next minute you're flying to Mombasa. You're buying me flowers. You're giving me cakes. You're proposing to me. We haven't even talked about this proposal. Why are you proposing? You get. You're getting me a car. Where is this coming from? And then the next minute you've slapped me. After slapping me, we are on our way to Maldives. Like, I don't even have time. I don't have time to load. But actually, I'm going through a toxic. It could be as little as he gets you flowers every day, because now he gets you stuck on that as a habit. Now, when you lack those flowers every day, it becomes like something is missing. So it becomes like, yes. So we have very little signs of toxic relationships that at times they may not be common to 2 or 3 people, but it's always good to know what I tell people is, do you feel comfortable being there? Do you feel loved? Do you feel being yourself? Especially if you're not yourself in a relationship, then try to understand why you're not yourself. Because you not being yourself means there's something you're either subconsciously or consciously running from. So yes.
Wow, those are good ones. Yeah. So any final remarks? Thank you so much. That was very detailed, yeah.
I think final remarks for me is to tell the people out there, as you watch this video, do not focus on what she went through, but focus on what are we doing about the world we are in today. So are you doing something good every day? Are you supporting someone? Are you getting supported? Because I was attending a Sunday service on Sunday, and this pastor told us that, you can't do things alone. Wherever you're going, there has to be someone who holds your hand. So I would advise everyone here, get someone to hold your hand, someone who understands what you're doing. It doesn't have to be one person for everything. I have 2 for politics. I have 1 for, I don't know, Mandela. I have 1 for this. I have 1 for this. So all these things, they come up together and they make me a better refined person. So look for support if you need it. Look for help if you need it, so that you can become a better person, because it starts with me. It's not like it comes from the president and then down to us. It has to start from us as we grow towards the president. So yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things. I've really learned a lot. And yeah, enjoy International Women's Day and continue advocating for women, continue helping women out there. And not even just women, also men. Let's change our society. Let's change our behaviors, our attitudes about things, both women and men. We are all human beings, and of course, women and men make up a whole society. So if we are all better, then our society is better and we are all happy. So I hope you guys love each other out there. I love my neighbor, even if I don't talk to them, but love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Love your neighbor and do what you would want someone else to do to you. So guys, enjoy your weekend and see you in the next video. Bye. Do not forget to subscribe if you've not subscribed yet, and turn on the notification bell in order to get notified when I post a new video. I try to post every single Sunday. And thank you so much, my dear, for coming to share your story, enlightening us about gender-based violence. That was very educative, and yeah, it has really helped me a lot.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.